watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
If you've ever spent a significant amount of time working at a dealership, and I know you have if you're in the auto industry, you know how rigorous schedules can be, making it tough to make doctor's appointments just to get a couple hours to get away to see a doctor. And then you've got to wait inside the doctor's office. You know what I'm talking about. But at DeMontrond Auto Group, they offer their dealership personnel an on-site clinic. I love this idea. Joining us now is Melissa DeMontrond, who is the president of DeMontrond Auto Group, to tell us more about this incredible benefit for your people. So Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure. Where was this idea when I was in the auto industry, spending 60, 70 hours a week selling cars, and you never had time to go? And if you said to your manager, I got to take a couple hours and go to the doctor, they'd look at you cross-eyed and go, you got customers coming in.
Right. Where are your priorities?
That's right. That's right. Sell a car over your good health, right? But you guys have figured this out, and I know the business is quite different than when I was selling cars a long time ago, so it's not exactly the same. But overall, talk to us about this and what kind of a benefit this is, and who came up with this idea?
Well, I've been doing the health benefits for our group for about almost 20 years now. And I'm always looking for new ways to offer benefits that are cost effective for the business, as well as offer really good benefits for our employees and our team.
Sure.
And so somebody approached me a year and a half ago with this idea to put a clinic in. Mm-hmm. And it's the man who owns the business is the guy that came to talk to me and said, I think this would be really great for dealerships. So we actually embedded it in our healthcare program.
Now, when you say the man that owns the business, you don't mean the dealership, but you mean the clinic?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's doing this in a lot of different places, in a lot of different businesses.
Okay.
And it's very unique and it's very innovative. And I just think it's going to really catch on because it seems to be very well received by our employees.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And today, you mentioned to me before you started recording today that it's just for employees, it's not for consumers yet. Maybe that's a possibility?
Correct. We're talking about making it available more like a Ready Clinic or those kind of things that they have at Walgreens.
Sure. Which come
right now we wanted to take care of the team first.
Yeah, exactly. You'll work out all the kinks and and then open that up. Because now you can imagine that'd be kind of cool if somebody's got to go to the clinic, but they got to get their car serviced. They could do both. They could, while their car's being serviced, they run over to the clinic, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's pretty cool. What's been the feedback so far from your associates?
I've had some pretty specific feedback that they really enjoy. If they all of a sudden start feeling badly, instead of just powering through, they run over to the clinic, and the clinic is able to not only do basic doctoring, but they also have some medicine available. Okay. So they can provide prescriptions and they can do things that, any kind of an urgent care clinic would be able to provide.
Sure.
I know that one of my platform directors, my fixed ops platform director, came to me and said that he has been able to win over at least 2 technicians because of this benefit, which, as we all know, technicians are gold, right?
Yes, right. Yeah.
So we beat out 2 other competitors because of the fact that we had this clinic, and the techs went back to the other group and said, do y'all have a clinic on site? And they said, no.
A clinic on site? Who's got a clinic on site? And just to be clear, this is for your employees and their families.
Correct.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yep. So anybody, kids, moms, dads, anybody that's on the plan can come and get basic doctoring or get specific needs taken care of if they're sick.
That is fantastic. That's great. And then what about the cost? How does the cost work on something like this?
The cost is we have built the cost into our healthcare plan. So if you are on the healthcare plan, it's included. Okay. So all of the visits are taken care of. Wow. Even if you call in, we also have an email. You can. I relatively frequently send emails to doctor@demontrond.com and say, I've got XYZ going on. And they email me back within 10 minutes. And then they call in a prescription that then gets delivered to my door. And it's all free of charge to me.
That is fantastic. Wow. And you're right. That is a benefit that is definitely it has to take, your candidates have to take a close look at that. I mean, there's not, I don't know of other dealerships offering, I know I've not interviewed anybody in the last 10 years that's got a clinic inside their dealer group.
Well, I'm always looking at new ways to help. And this is, with the rising cost of healthcare, this has been something that we could offer to our employees. And, it's beneficial to all of us, to
That's
them
right.
and to us.
That's right. Now, I should mention that your fifth generation and your dealer group started like 100 years ago, right? That congratulations, that is incredible. You typically do not see companies lasting that long under the same family ownership. Some generation usually sells, maybe the third or fourth or what have you, but that's pretty cool. I mean, the fact that I guess your grandfather or great-grandfather started the company.
Up near Dallas, and then my grandfather moved it to Houston actually 70 years ago. So this is our 70th anniversary in Houston.
Okay, that's great. That's fantastic. So your family, obviously the DeMontrond family enjoys a great name there in Houston, and the employees know the company well, and obviously this is just one more benefit that that also is going to keep them there. Talk to me about what role this plays in employee retention.
I am very, very hopeful that it will play a key role going forward. We opened the clinic in April of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we haven't had it for a full year yet.
Okay.
But I believe that as the word spreads and as people learn about it, it's going to be a differentiating factor for our group.
Sure.
Until other people catch on and start putting them in their stores.
That's right. That's right. And then of course you're gonna have to come up with some other clever idea to get those technicians that everybody wants, right?
I've got some things in my back pocket.
There you go. There you go. And you're right. Technicians are very difficult to get. I mean, for the dealers that were listening to that earlier to say, you got 2 technicians based on this, they're right now building their clinics. if you can
Wow.
get technicians based on this, then you're onto something for sure. What advice do you have for other dealers that are considering implementing something like this?
Call me.
Okay.
Sincerely, if anybody that wants to do this, I do know the gentleman who owns this business. And by the way, all we had to do was provide the space.
Okay.
They built out the clinic for us
Okay.
and did all of and they provide the doctors and the nurse practitioners, et
Wow.
cetera.
It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other piece of advice is it can look scary at first.
Yeah.
And it can look a little like it may not pay off in terms of the economic win, if you will. But so far, to me, this is a huge win, and I think it's only going to get better as we go.
And it's kind of the right thing to do. I mean, if you've got a number of employees, as you do, and you've been around a long time, you take good care of your employees. It's just kind of like that next benefit you're able to offer them. And if you've got somebody that's willing to come in and say, hey, we could set up the whole thing for you and run it and staff it and everything else, it's kind of like the relationships that some dealerships have with their cafe, where they say, look, just allocate this much of the space, and then you give it over to an operator that says, we'll take care of it all, and you don't have to even worry about it, right?
And that was actually one of the things that I was thinking as we were setting it up, because we've never had a cafe per se at our stores.
Okay.
But I said, if they can have a cafe, surely we can do this clinic thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great idea. I applaud you for your efforts here, and I know that your employees, I'm sure, have got to be happy about having this great benefit, available to them. And are there certain hours? Is it the same hours as the dealership operation, or how does that work?
7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Wow.
Every day.
7 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's impressive. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's great, because
Yeah,
technicians usually get in early anyway. And
right.
yeah. Wow. That is fantastic.
We've got multiple locations, and we've only got the clinic at one right now, but we also have a mobile clinic. And so,
Of course you do. A mobile clinic too. That's
Right.
Wow.
So the RN can actually go and visit each of the other satellite locations regularly, be it monthly, bi-monthly, whatever the cadence is.
That's great. What would your great-grandfather think of this, by you being this innovative and saying, we're going to offer a clinic?
I hope he'd be proud.
I think you would be. I think you're right. Hey, let me switch gears a little bit with you for a second since I've got you here. How's business?
Business, it's not bad.
Okay.
It's obviously not as great as it once was, but inventories are looking up for the most part.
Okay.
The strike has certainly thrown a wrench in things.
And when you say throwing a wrench in things, are you already feeling the impact on inventories, or what does that look like?
Specific vehicles.
Okay.
I have friends that call me looking for something specifically, and I can't tell them when we're going to get it.
Sure.
Because,
Yeah.
it's missing XYZ part or whatever may not be available, and there's no telling when it will be.
Sure.
So it's frustrating for us, and I know it's frustrating for everybody, but I have to believe it's going to get worked out.
Are consumers in the Houston market beating your door down for their EVs?
Living in a city that spans 2 hours from the top to the bottom, EVs are not necessarily the first on everybody's list.
No.
I'm not going to be popular amongst manufacturers for saying that.
Yes.
But they will come around.
They will. It's as one dealer said to me, he goes, Jim, it's kind of like, the home computers back in the 90s where it was dial-up and it was clunky and it was huge and they were expensive and you didn't really know why you needed a home computer to begin with. And it took, a few years for everybody to say, oh my God, I can't live without it. And now try to get, the computer away from somebody. It's like, no, that's my whole life right there. So, I think it's just technology that's going to take some time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And infrastructure, making sure that there's plenty of charging stations available to everybody as they go down the road.
Right. You are uniquely positioned and qualified, I should say, to answer this question. What do we need to do in retail automotive to attract more females into this great industry, from your perspective?
Be more flexible.
Hours?
It's that simple, I think. Yes. Understand that females have a wide variety of things that they can offer, but they also have a wide variety of things they're responsible for. And so flexibility is key.
Right.
I think we're going to see more working from home in the future. I'm not sure what that's going to look like exactly, but I think COVID proved it could be done.
Sure.
And I think that we need to be flexible with hours, and we need to understand if they have to go get a sick kid, they have to go get a sick kid.
Right. Which is always interesting to me because it seems as though when you've got a husband and a wife and a sick kid, it's always the wife that gets called to pick the kid up from school, and it's like, how does that work, right? The husband seems to get off easy on that one, but.
Well, I think for the most part, it's the kids that want their moms during that period, right?
That's right. They'd rather see mom walking up to the school than dad, like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble for being sick now.
Right, exactly.
That's right. I have 5 kids, so I can say that. I know what it was like. They're like, oh, you're here? Oh, I would have never gone to the nurse's office if that was the case.
5 is brave. 5 is brave.
Yes, 5 is brave. And 6 grandchildren. So now my kids are now going through that with their kids. So it's exciting.
Awesome.
But nevertheless, what's your take on the balance of this year? We're only a couple of months left. You think we'll have a strong finish? You think we'll be okay?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think there's some things that are beyond my control as a dealer, if you will. But heading into the end of the year, I think that we are positioned to finish strongly. Next year, we'll have to see where we are with the strike and whatnot.
Sure, for sure. Well, Melissa DeMontrond, who is the president of DeMontrond Auto Group in Houston, Texas, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I know that our viewers and subscribers will get a lot out of your presentation here today. I know that there's probably a few that are picking up the phone right now and saying, how do we get a clinic? She got 2 technicians from this. If that's not reason enough. But kidding aside, all of your employees, I'm sure, really like this benefit. And I think it's a great trend you're starting. So congratulations to you and on all your success and over 100 years in the business. That in and of itself is very cool. So hopefully we can have you back to do a follow-up to see how things are going.
Would love it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's great. Thanks so much, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.